I went to art school. The thing I realized relatively early on was rather than paint pictures to hang on the wall, what I like to do is tell stories with pictures. Grew up reading comic books voraciously. Learned an awful lot about visual storytelling from comic books, film, just loved watching movies. Made movies myself in high school, made my own comic books. And I came across several examples of wordless storytelling while I was a student, most notably Lynn Ward's novels from the early 30s. And that was it. It was all over after I came across those. You know, I had been working in a certain way for quite a while, particularly with media. Most of my books are done on watercolor. And my most recent book, Flotsam, to me felt like the culmination of all these ways that I had been working, that they had led up to this. It just came together so incredibly well, so satisfyingly. And part of me looked at it and said, well, I don't know if I can do better than that. So what else can I do? After Flotsam, my desire was to do something different, to see what else could I do. And primary to that was, let's work in a different media. And that exploration of media led me through a story that actually came around to be about the media itself, to be about the creative process. So I began by playing around with an opaque paint. What I saw suddenly in thinking about the different media was a little bit of a narrative arc. And this character that I was working on began to crack. The paint began to crack and flake off and come apart, and underneath was the character, yet now rendered in a different media, pastel. And then that pastel would get blown off, revealing underneath watercolor, and that watercolor would get washed off, and underneath that was a line drawing, and then finally that line drawing would disappear. But what I really was missing was the characters themselves. And so I went from soft and cuddly creatures to finally coming around to lizards, which were much more fun to draw. And as I began to create them, make models and do research and draw them, their personalities began to emerge, and suddenly the story began to come from them. That this was a story about an artist and someone who wants to be an artist. And their exploration of the media became my exploration of the media and defined the story of them and their creative process as well as mine.